It has been a while since I've been able to do any of these interviews. I mean, no, not really. It's been roughly 2 months. But I have a very special guest today. One that is a lot more known from that whole era than a lot of people, really. It took you a really long time to finish a specific character that we'll get to in a second. But the point is, you did finish it. And it counts.
Kinda.
Mr. Caddie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks, man. Sorry it took so long.
It's okay. There are people who should have been done months ago that have still not quite checked in with me. So,
Bro, I work and then I get home and I forget anything exists. Like, I forget M.U.G.E.N exists. And I'm sorry I call it M.U.G.E.N, by the way. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong.
You admit it, you keep doing it.
I can't change it, man. I mean, do you call the Street Fighter character like Jen?
I call him Gen.
You call him Gen?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's where I get that from, M.U.G.E.N.
Yeah. Either way.
Like a cow.
The first big question of the night is, where did it all begin for you? Like, how did you find M.U.G.E.N? What was the process behind it?
I was actually goofing off in school. So, like, back in the early, 2000s or so, I think it was actually 2000 exactly, I had this computer class that nobody actually took seriously. So, they were looking around, at some fighting game websites and stuff like that, and I think it was, a GeoCities page, actually, that had M.U.G.E.N DBZ 3000 or something like that. So they were showing it to me, and it was just a screen pack with 5 characters on it.
Yeah.
That they considered a full game, I guess. But I didn't know it was M.U.G.E.N at the time, but I copied the URL and went home and I downloaded it and I started playing it. And it had a little address at the bottom. So I went to that website and there was much more characters there, all Dragon Ball Z stuff. I know I'm a big Dragon Ball Z nerd, so
I can relate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I started from there, and then I found out you can add Street Fighter characters, and I've been a big Street Fighter fan since Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo, so I added a bunch of other characters, and the Dragon Ball Z characters from that full game were from the PlayStation 1, so they were huge, right? Compared to Super Nintendo sprites. So when I downloaded the ones that had the Super Nintendo sprites, I didn't want them to mismatch like that. That always bothered me, when you started downloading M.U.G.E.N characters and they were different sizes. So I started messing around with the values, and that's how I started to learn how to work with M.U.G.E.N. I also had some RPG Maker experience, RPG Maker 95 and 2000. So that kind of helped out learning how to work with M.U.G.E.N a bit. So I pretty much started learning how to work with M.U.G.E.N the second that I started downloading and playing it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, really dated yourself with RPG Maker 95 and 2K.
Yeah, with the little, they always walk sprites. It was so limited, they were, walking in place.
Yeah, that is a time long forgotten.
Oh, yeah. But it was fun. I made my own game. I think I called it, I'm gonna break the fourth wall. My real name's Tom. But I think I called it Tom's Game.
Great name. Can't argue with it.
Yeah.
Really brings home what it's about and who made it. So, the first character that you made, I don't quite have him right now, but I'm going to get him from you later if I can. Would you like to tell us about who that is and why you went with that character?
I'm going to go in a little bit different direction than what you expected, because that's not actually my real first character.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. My real first character is named Cadicle. Are you any good at Photoshop?
Yeah.
When this goes up, could you put a Photoshop of Vegeta with a green shirt and black Sideshow Bob hair?
Sure.
Because that's Cadicle.
Great.
Yeah, so I made my own fan-made DBZ character and named him after myself because I was Cadicle at the time. By the way, somebody owns the copyright to Cadicle now, and it's not me.
That's unfortunate.
That's some weird shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I edited over somebody's Dragon Ball Z Vegeta and put my own sprites in, and that's my real first character. I don't even have him anymore. The character I think you're talking about is Balrog, right?
More than likely, yeah. You've worked on him long enough.
Oh, the one he was a 4-year work in progress, but I actually made him on Duck King. But I think I started building him over some other character, some other creators, Balrog, and just I tried to start adding special moves, and that's how that started. And then when I realized that it wouldn't be cool to do that, I just started from scratch and I started building it. I looked and saw how he built jabs and all this normal attacks, and I pretty much had figured out how to do special attacks different. It's the same stuff. It's from the basics. So I went from there and I started giving him special moves, and then at the time everybody was making M.U.G.E.N characters that had weird supers. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily weird or not, but like they were their own custom super moves, so they didn't play like the game. So I started giving them stuff that was different from the gang. You know, Titlin, that guy.
Yeah, that
like
guy.
He even gave me some like flaming fist punches that I threw in the character. It was like, oh, this is awesome, man. Thanks, bro.
Just mashed it all together then, huh?
Oh yeah, so I threw everything I could at that character. So eventually, I had to come to a stopping point, and it went like really weird in one direction, and then I added some like CVS coding, CVS2 coding.
Yeah.
But all it did, like I did the very basics of it because I didn't understand game mechanics at the time, but like I could not stop working on that character. I think I did some pretty cool things with it, but it sucks.
Well, it's okay. I mean, not everybody's first character is a winner. I mean, mine certainly isn't.
Yeah.
So, the gameplay that you came up with this character, what made you go the route you did?
I think because I was noticing people were doing Marvel vs. Capcom shit.
Yeah.
So I threw in like a custom combo system where you press like X, Y, Z and A, B, C and stuff like that. And he would do just directly into the next punches like that. And then I added in a launcher even though I didn't know how to do it properly. So it just basically like Y velocity sends them straight up into the air.
Yeah. You and a lot of other people. It's okay.
Oh, yeah. I wish that I had the time to go back and do him proper. I've always wanted to do that, but I'm sure people have done Balrog a lot better than I have now.
Yeah, you know. Nothing personal, but you know, I've kind of made a couple, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, one or two, right?
Yeah, about one or two.
Yeah.
So, what did you like the most about that character that you made? What drew you to make that one?
I didn't know anything about Street Fighter Alpha 3 at the time. Because I didn't have a PlayStation or a PlayStation 2 until a little bit later.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't go to the arcades after, like, Mortal Kombat 3, so I never knew that Balrog and Vega actually made a comeback to the Street Fighter Alpha series. So when I downloaded these characters to see how they played, they were very incomplete because, like, I'm ancient, right? And I started M.U.G.E.N stuff like 2000.
Yeah.
They were very incomplete characters. So I started on Vega, actually. I tweaked him a little bit, like, to learn how to do moves.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I gave him, like, his little backdrop move when he jumps off the wall. And I had enough fun with him, and I started adding stuff to Balrog, and that's how I started playing as him. Because I didn't really play as him back when I was playing Street Fighter 2, like, in the 90s. But I liked how he played. I liked the little charge moves. I liked how he, like, looked like he's going to punch you in the face, and then he, like, goes for your legs like that.
Yeah.
And, like, the more I played him, the more I started to actually like the character because he tries to be hard, but he's also funny.
Yeah.
Like, especially in the Street Fighter Alpha stuff and the stuff that he just, like, shouts out.
Mm-hmm.
Just, he's hilarious. So I like characters like that. I like characters that are a little off. And Balrog's certainly a little off. Plus, he's like Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson's my favorite boxer.
Yeah, he's become one of my favorite people, too, but probably not because of the boxing. Or because of the mystery thing. But...
Yeah, that stuff's awesome. I love that he does stuff like. I love that it's actually him.
Yeah, that's what sells it for me. I'm sure you've run into your string of problems during production, and probably more than you can count or even remember right now. But what would you consider the biggest challenge that you faced while making this character?
With Balrog specifically?
Yes.
I think what made me stop working on him was Vism mode. Because I wanted to add like a Vism to him, and just like it would be impossible to get it right at the time. I don't know if I was just like too inexperienced or M.U.G.E.N had its limitations.
Probably a little of both.
Yeah, probably. That's why I never release anything from M.U.G.E.N is because I always reach a wall, or I work on something too long and I get burned out by it.
I'm currently facing that problem in my 10th year. So it's understandable.
Yeah, that's about the same time as me, but I'm sorry that's happening to you. M.U.G.E.N sucks.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I love it, but like I really wish that it would continue updating. Like, and I wish that they listened a little bit more to feedback because like I've been telling them stuff like Bite when they got there. I'm pronouncing all these wrong, aren't I?
Well, I don't really know how to pronounce Elect Bite, so I've been going with that too.
Yeah, Elect Bite in the M.U.G.E.N forums, but
yeah,
I actually know a lot more than I let off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. just more than you care to talk about.
Yeah, because if you've noticed, like, any of the stuff that I posted, like, work in progress videos of on the site that I never released it, like that Contra character. I actually did release the DuckTales character, but I like to push M.U.G.E.N to its limits and figure out what it can do outside of just, like, standard fighting game characters. So I had to learn every little bit of the engine, and plus I'm known for my accuracy, right?
Yeah.
Well, I had to go to, like, every depths to get things to be exactly right. So I know what M.U.G.E.N can't do, and they never listened to what my feedback was. So M.U.G.E.N is still at this, like, standstill. I can't finish characters that I've always wanted to finish.
That's my biggest issue, is the fact that I try to do too much, and then when it gets to the AI phase, I realize I have to deliver, and then I'm like, how the fuck am I going to make challenging AI when I barely understand the character myself?
Yeah, that Scrooge McDuck character that I didn't want to release it because I couldn't program an AI for it. Because how can you program an AI for a character that, like, it would have, I could have done it, but it would have been a lot of work. Do you remember that April Fool's joke I did like a couple years ago with the Superman character?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I programmed him to basically, like, charge after you and, like, spam his punches.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he gets low on health, he runs away. But he runs away until, like, little health icons pick up and he can recover it and turn back into Superman because he has this, like, mechanic where he turns into Clark Kent if he gets too low on love.
Yeah.
But even that little simplistic AI programming has these glitches that make it hilarious to watch him in, like, watch mode Superman versus Superman. But
if only you understood what Sad Claps does to anything I make. We have a whole tournament on it for that reason. This question is usually a bit tricky because wording is key, but if you were to get the first character you made right now from yourself, like, what would you tell yourself? What would you tell them to hopefully fix it?
I would tell them it's very inaccurate and broken and would give them guides on how to fix it. Like, the same thing happened whenever I downloaded Duck King and I started seeing all these little problems with it. And it's not that I hate that people are releasing Duck Kings or anything like that, because I'm not petty or jealous or anything like that. But I want to use my knowledge to help people. I've always wanted to do that. And I that's one of the things that I regret about my time in M.U.G.E.N is that I never really helped out people as much as I would have liked to. But I would have done the best I can to help whoever made, well, me, to help me make a better character. So I would have told them about the velocities and the hit deaths and all that shit.
Yeah, that's a good answer. So when you first got started, like, was there any community that you were a part of, or were you just riding solo for a while? And what was it like back then?
No, I went into M.U.G.E.N dev back when it still existed. I went around looking for forums. I don't know if I was ready to release stuff at the time or if I was just looking for more stuff to build on my own, like, personal M.U.G.E.N stuff. Yeah, so I started with M.U.G.E.N dev, and the way the community was back then, I don't want to say people were more bullies, but I think they weren't as cautious about being PC as they are nowadays. Deep down at the core, they were helping each other because, like, nobody had the guys that they had today, so they were helpful. But at the same time, like, people got torn into if they didn't do the right thing. And that lasted for quite a while, but, like, as M.U.G.E.N dev went down and, like, M.U.G.E.N Guild came up, I mean, it started to get better about that, and I really like how the community is nowadays.
Yeah, like, it's not perfect, but, you know, we've made strides, for sure.
Oh, definitely, but I don't know if it was, like, a pack mentality, but, like, if somebody was a little bit off, they got ganged up on. You know what I mean? I think I was even part of that. I always remember trying to be like, oh, whenever I made posts, I would be like, oh, let me try and be cool and talk sarcastic to people and shit like that. And I'm so annoyed at my 16-year-old self.
I can relate, since I was about 16 when I got started.
Yeah. I don't know. And as time went on, like, people noticed that don't touch my coding stuff. Because we didn't have copyrights to most of the sprites, because most people use sprites from Capcom games or SNK games or whatever. So they took what they could of what they did, which was the coding, and just be like, I'm so proud of my coding. I don't want anybody else to be able to use it. And that stuff is nonsense.
Yeah, and I'm still slightly jaded on the matter, but like, I've relented to the point where I'm like, you know, just tell me. You don't have to ask, just let me know. Like, I like to feel like I'm helping somebody rather than just snatching it up and saying, hey guys, look what I did. But that being said, So you joined the community pretty quickly, so I assume you probably have asked for help before. And if you did, what primarily did you ask about the most?
Anything where I got stuck in coding and I knew that people would be able to help me out. Just like if something wasn't connecting right, like when I tested the character out, it wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I'd just be like, how can you do this? And I would post about it. And people were always really helpful about that. Especially like in the mid 2000s or so. By then, people knew how the engine worked really well. And like all you had to do was ask and they would help you out.
And that's about the same for me.
Yeah.
A lot of my questions were more of like, I think I did this right, but I'm not sure. And a lot of my questions were also like towards certain people. I would private message them, and I ended up making a lot of friends and mentors that way.
That's so awesome, bro. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, and like I would like to be one of those two things for someone else, but I can be a bit of a jaded person when things just aren't the way they should be.
All right.
But it is what it is.
That's understandable. The only thing is you got to be careful about that because there's been people that I saw a lot of potential in, and when I ended up helping them out, I wouldn't say they were bad at what they did, but sometimes they ignored my advice, but other times they'd feel like they were using me, and you got to be careful about that.
Oh, yeah.
And look for personality traits to see how they are, because a lot of them ended up not being really good community members, even if they were good with M.U.G.E.N.
So it goes.
Yeah. I like your response to that.
It's more common than it should be, but yeah. So it goes. So speaking of that whole deal, if somebody came to you today and asked you, what do you feel is the best thing or the most important things I should know if I wanted to start working with M.U.G.E.N, what would you tell them?
So as far as what's actually important, I would have to say asking for help when you need it and just researching, because that's what worked for me, and just working and trying things out on your own. And when you reach walls, just be like, hey, I don't know what to do here, or looking through the available help topics. Since there's a lot of that now. There's a lot of information out there, ridiculous amount of information. So, I mean, sometimes that can be difficult to sort through, but that's how you advance, is you research and learn. And yeah, just trying it out. Just try things out and keep going, and don't be discouraged.
Yeah, I couldn't really say it any better. Any last words you have, like anything you want to promote or shout out or tell someone who might be listening?
I really miss you guys. I really do. I wish that I hadn't cut back on M.U.G.E.N as much as I have. I don't even know if it's I don't have the time for it anymore. Like my brain shuts off after I'm done with work. So I loved working with M.U.G.E.N all the years, and my optimistic goal would be that my best days are ahead of me with it, and I can start making stuff that I've always wanted to do. I'm very proud of how the community has gone, especially compared to how it used to be. And that's not to say that it was bad before. I just think it's improved a lot now. So, I don't know. I'm really happy with things are, but I want to see more in the future.
Yeah, I can understand that, because, like, personally, it's not that I think my best days are behind me, but I know my days are coming to a close because my number is counting down before I hit my ridiculous goal of 150, because I'm at 106 now. I'm going to hold myself to that, because I feel like by that time I'll be 100% burnt out and done and out of ideas.
Yeah.
And, like, come June is when I'm actually going to release my own interview that I recorded a year ago. So that's going to be the easiest interview to edit ever.
Yeah.
It's already technically on my YouTube. It's just no one can see it.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, I wish that I could make like a comeback. I guess I could say it like that, because I would love to still be working with you guys and helping out the community like I can, posting in that help section. But I don't know, man.
Yeah, sometimes our jobs and lives can take tolls in ways we weren't prepared to deal with, because I know my current changes are definitely cutting away a lot of spare time that I thought I had to do stuff. But you make time if you really want to. And I guess in some cases there are days I don't really want to, so I don't do anything at all.
Yeah. Yep, same here.
Well, thanks for finally meeting up with me. I know it was a very arduous journey to get us to this point, but it's said and done.
Yeah, we walked down that path finally.